thank you everybody and welcome to our base camp, which is on automation and using automation to create journeys that drive customer loyalty and conversions. So firstly, just to introduce myself, I did get name checked this morning, but my name is Danielle Woolley and I'm Customer Success Manager at Adestra. I can see some familiar faces in the audience, some of you that I've already met. I've already visited your offices and got involved with your marketing strategy. So thanks very much for coming to support me today. I've worked in digital marketing for about 10 years now. I started out as a marketing manager working in publishing, and then I moved agency side and finally into email marketing software. So I've had the privilege of working with a really broad range of clients across a range of industries, including retail, B2B, publishing and media. And that's given me a really good appreciation for how the principles of email marketing and direct marketing apply across different industries and across different audiences. So in my role as Customer Success Manager at Adestra, I joined Adestra in December, so I'm still quite new, but definitely feeling like a fully fledged Adestrian now. But my role is really to be the champion for customer success in the business and to make sure that we are focused on helping you guys achieve your business goals and achieve your marketing objectives and helping you get the most value from your relationship with us. Okay, so we've got a really, really good session ahead of us today. We'll be kicking things off with a case study. So I'm joined by Charlotte Riley, CRM Manager at TruePrint, and we'll be taking you through a series of life cycle programs that she's been working on over the past couple of months, almost single-handedly. And we'll be talking about how she got there, how she got those programs live, the strategy behind the programs, and also some of the initial results that TruePrint have seen. We were going to be joined by one of our Adestra partners, Harry Hanson-Smith from Fresh Relevance, but unfortunately, due to illness, he can't join us today. And it's just reminded me, a little bit of housekeeping, somebody has lost a travel card from Banbury. So if you have lost your travel card, it's at the Adestra desk, so please go and find it. Okay, so we're going to kick off with the case study, but following the case study, we're going to open up the floor to questions. So please have a think as you go through if you've got any questions, both relating to the case study and just generally about automation and about our automation program builder tool. So please don't be shy. And equally, if you've got any experiences, some of your own challenges and successes that you'd like to share with the room, then we'd really, really love to hear from you. Okay, so this is our agenda for the case study. Charlotte's going to talk through the background and objectives. Then I'm going to talk about how we work together to achieve it. And then we'll be looking at the results and thinking about what we learned. Okay, so without further delay, I'm going to hand over to Charlotte.
Thank you, Danny. Oh, it's working, great. I do apologise, I haven't presented for a good 8 years since I was at uni, so if there's any hiccups, I'm sorry. But anyway, this is me. I've had over 5 years experience in marketing, starting off with a Masters in Marketing at university, followed by a short stint for Gaming Retail at their head office in their online marketing department. And I've actually spent the last 4, although I was working out on my break, nearly 5 years, so it's at TruePrint. My responsibilities with TruePrint, they mostly lie with the email marketing, but we are only a small team of 3. So I dabble in all sorts of things as well. I've got the grips with our content management system, so there's me updating the website, which also includes getting involved in the SEO, and we've also got the app, which we get involved, we all sort of take part in maintaining and marketing, and also a bit social and things. And so, yeah, wide breadth in TruePrint that I'm getting involved in. When I'm not in the office though, you'll probably find me at the yard with my horse. I have a lovely horse. No pictures on here though. Or I've got my nose in a good book at home, so that's me.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, you can click, that's fine. TruePrint. We've been around for over 40 years. Some of you might remember the old envelopes that you used to send your films off in to be processed. Don't know if there's anyone out there who remembers that, but we're now all digital photos, all online through our website. As you can see from here, we put photos on all sorts now. It's not just your standard prints, so we've got mugs, photo books, calendars, stunning wall canvases if you've got that special memory you want. And coming soon, cushions, so keep an eye out for them. Just a little pitch there. All sorts going on. At TruePrint, we do sort of suffer from a few challenges. As I've already mentioned, we are a small team. There's just myself, my colleague who deals with all the PPC and partnerships, and our manager. This has its advantages in the fact we all know what's going on, we can work really closely together and actually have some good conversations throughout the day, but it also means our resources are quite limited. You know, there's just me on the emails and that's it. We get the support from great designers, but that's it. So there's always a sort of, we get bogged down, limits on our time and things to get everything we want done. Secondly, we are in a very competitive marketplace out there. You've probably heard of Photobox and Snapfish. Snapfish are a big competitor of ours, but we do have a strange relationship in that they provide our web platform and we also work in a joint venture for them, so that obviously complicates things a little bit further. And in that marketplace, there's a lot of heavy discounting. We always joke in the office that if ourselves or Snapfish decide to put a nice deal out there on search or even an email, very quickly Photobox realise, and we call it waking the beast, because they are very good at matching our offers, if not bettering them. So we're always having to keep an eye on what everyone's doing. With these sort of challenges in mind, we also have to focus on sort of our objectives. These are three sort of key ones for me within email that I'm always looking at. The first is to improve conversion rate from getting people to the site to their first order. You know, once they've got that first order through, they've uploaded some photos, they've got that tied to the site, they've got an account, they're storing their photos with us, and they've seen firsthand what we can produce. So it's always important to get them ordering that first time. But following on from that, we like to keep those customers loyal. There's a lack of brand loyalty in our marketplace. We know this from sort of research and things that we've done, surveys, and we've got the advantage that we're actually based at the factory where a lot of these things are printed, so we can see what a lot of our competitors are doing, and you do see some familiar faces cropping up in the printing across the different brands. So we want to encourage people to go from just a single purchase to that multi-purchase. Our average order value per year is 1.3, which is quite low. People come in once and they're done. We get a few people regularly coming back, but we want to encourage more to keep coming. The third thing is, I've already said there's a very competitive marketplace, heavy discounting, and a lot of that is based around the traditional prints. We're talking pennies per print. You know, they're quick, they're easy, people can get them done, and you can bundle them up in all different sizes. We've got a couple of deals out there with Voucher and Groupon, which are sort of like 100 prints for £1, 300 prints for £1, so they are dirt cheap. But obviously our boss is like, we can't be giving everything away, so he wants us to, you know, sell the more profitable, high-ticket items. So we're always looking to upsell those people. You've got your prints, great. Have you got some favourite photos? Come back, order a canvas to put on your wall or a photo book to share. So at Christmas, a lot of people get photo books so they can share with the grandparents that are coming down at Christmas to show them, you know, what's been going on through the year. So they're sort of the objectives I'm always in the back of my mind that I'm working to. With those objectives in mind, we turned to Adestra and their tool, and we wanted to know what it is they could do to help us achieve those goals. So I'll hand back to Danny to explain that.
Absolutely. So as you've heard, TruePrint are a business. They're pretty clear about what their business objectives are, which is really, really good. So they also had an idea of what programs they thought that they needed to build, but they weren't sure how to get started. You weren't really sure how to plan out the journeys, how frequently to send the emails, what content to include, that kind of thing. So TruePrint's account manager Jenna, who's currently off enjoying enjoying her honeymoon, and I put together a workshop. We did some analysis on existing email performance. They had a few triggered programs already in place, so we had a look at how they were performing. And we also did some analysis of customer behaviour on the website, how many people who registered went on to upload photos and then went on to make their first purchase. So we got all that together. We also pulled together loads of case studies, some really good example and best practice tips, and we went down to Devon and we had a really, really good workshop with Charlotte.
Involved a lot of cake.
We ate a lot of cake and we used up a lot of big sheets of paper. Basically, one of the first things that we paid close attention to was the customer journey for TruePrint. So these are the behaviours that we wanted to encourage to move the customers down the pathway of becoming loyal repeat customers. So as you can see, there's a lot of ways with TruePrint for people to have that initial interaction with the brand and to provide their email address. They can create a login, they can register on the website, they can actually just sign up quickly to the newsletter, they can enter a competition, they could come through one of your affiliates like Voucher or Groupon, and they could also even download the app. So we had a lot of different sources of people to think about, and we noticed, so obviously the next action that TruePrint want the customer to perform is upload their photos, which is a reasonably lengthy process, because until they've done that, then obviously they can't buy anything at all. And then after uploading photos, to complete that first order and then to go on and order again. And we noticed from the data that there was really quite a bit of fallout between each stage. So people would create a login on the website, but then not go ahead and upload their photos. For 1 month we looked at, there was about 75% of people falling out, although there had been a lot of affiliate activity that month. And then after uploading photos, quite often people didn't go on and complete that first order. So we felt that there was a great opportunity to create sort of triggered, timely and relevant emails that would nudge people onto that next stage. So what we came up with was these 5 key programs that we wanted to put in place quite quickly. So first of all, welcome registration, which is for people that have registered, and it is focused on encouraging them to take the next step and upload their photos if they haven't already, providing sort of useful information about how to do that and contact information for their customer services team. We also wanted to do a first purchase activation for those people that had come in from various sources but hadn't yet made a first purchase. And we also wanted, in line with the upsell objective to the higher ticket items, we wanted to put in place the post-purchase nurture programs, and we separated that out into 2 programs, one for people that had bought prints only and one for people that had bought other items. And we also wanted to enhance the win-back programs that TruePrint already had in place. They had a single win-back email which was triggered after 6, 9 and 15 months, but we wanted to extend that out into a longer program and see if we could make that work harder and perform better. So first of all, so how did we design these programs? What we actually did was we got lots of massive sheets of paper and actually started drawing out how that program flow would look. So actually, hands up here who's already used the program builder. Ooh, maybe about a third of the audience. Okay, so not that many. So I'm really glad that you're all here today. Obviously to see what you can be doing and see what the opportunity is. But we actually instead of just being intimidated and going straight into the tool, we wanted to think about the journeys that we wanted to create. And a really easy way to do that is to just start drawing it out on a big sheet of paper. If it doesn't work, you can cross it out. You can think about where your data sources are coming from. You can think about what is the next behaviour that you want to create, and start planning that out. So I'm going to take you through first purchase activation, which is this one here. So those of you that haven't been into Program Builder yet, The little coloured thumbnails that you can see are the email campaigns that get sent out. The round circles are the wait times, and the diamond there, that's a filter. So that is querying the data. It's looking at the behaviour, and if people perform a certain action, then it will send them down a different path. So the way this programme, so the intention behind this first purchase activation, which is similar to a welcome programme, is to make sure that those new people that have come onto the mailing list are aware of all the different product types that TruePrint offer. So the first email is all about canvas prints. The second email is about photo books, and the third email is all about calendars, and they are sent 7 days apart. Now this thing here, which I'm told is a parallelogram, I didn't know that, but that there is saying remove from the TruePrint master list. And the reason that we've done that is to take people out of the business as usual messaging, so that they don't get confused with other offers and things that are being sent out, and we can concentrate on this welcome journey. So they receive their 3 emails, which are sent over 3 weeks, and then at the end of that journey, there's the filter here, looks to see if they've made a purchase. If they have, it simply exits them from the programme and they get added to the master list. And if they haven't, they stay in, and we send them an offer for 20% off photo gifts. So here's what one of the emails looks like. So as you can see, it's not salesy. There's no offer or discount in this email. It's really talking about photo books, talking about the different sizes and formats that you can order, the fact that you can choose themes. So it's just a sort of a really nice kind of informative email, and it's also got some modules at the end with customer reviews and also customer service information. Cool, so I'm going to hand over to Charlotte to talk about this programme, which obviously looks a lot more complicated. I don't know if you can see it very well at the back, can you? So, no, not really, I'm getting a few, well, Charlotte will talk you through.
Yeah, as Danny says, it looks complicated, but it's really not. The program builder makes it really simple because this pretty much looks like the flow chart we drew out on the bits of paper. So you take a bit of paper that's got your scribbles on, and you can really easily turn it into what you see on the screen here in the message focus program builder. So again, at the very beginning, we're taking them out of the master list just because we don't want to confuse them with conflicting offers. We're starting off with a wait for 14 days just because the first email that's going out is a review email. Obviously, a lot of you know that it's important to get reviews and feedback on your product, especially for the old Google star ratings and various things like that. So we send that email out and it encourages them to review on Trustpilot, Review Centre, and someone else, I can't remember, Chow I think it is. We then just wait a day once they've had that opportunity to feedback, and then we're actually filtering them off in 2 branches based on the number of prints that they ordered, because this is for those that have only bought prints. And we've got our transactional data in Message Focus, which has been a fantastic addition because I can do things like this. So Message Focus will tell me that these people have either bought more than 150 prints, and in which case, if they've got a lot, a photo book might be a good option for them because they can fill up all the pages, or less than 150 prints in their order, which we send them a canvas. Again, the idea being, if they've only got a few prints, they've got one favourite, so maybe they'd want that blown up on a stunning wall canvas. Again, the first email is very informational around those 2 products. We're then waiting 7 days within each of those branches, and then we're sticking in another filter that says, well, have they purchased in the last week? If they have, we're sending them back into the business as usual emails. If they haven't, we're then looking at sending them an offer based around the initial product. So the book branch gets a discount on books, and the canvas branch gets a discount on the canvas. We wanted to start off with quite informational emails. If Danny skips forward, we can see some of them, I think. Yeah, there we go. Just because our business as usual emails, as I've already said, are so focused on promotion and discount, we wanted to give just letting people know what's out there a chance. So again, you can see it's all just about the photo books, slightly more personalised. We sort of said, we hope you're enjoying your photos. If you've got a lot, why don't you try photo book? If you haven't, canvas. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes.
Cool. And the final one.
Are those photographs in there personal to the people receiving them?
No, they're not.
That would be really cool though.
Yeah, it would be something really cool, and it'd be something that hopefully we can get sorted. I know between Message Focus and various companies that are out there probably is something we can do. But for initial sort of quick ease of setup, it's just really nice designs that our designer has done.
Yeah, we have thought about that actually, and I think one of the challenges is picking a photo that works well. One of the things we thought about was maybe using the cover photo of their album. So that's definitely something that is in the future that we're going to look at. Cool. So one of the other programmes.
Another question.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Just on that, is it possible the templates that you're linking in? Is it possible for them to have that dynamic content happening in them? Does that have any impact on the programme?
That would have been, you could have done it that way, you're right. So you could have pulled in dynamically either the photo book content or the canvas prints. One of the restrictions is on the reporting, so actually sending them a different campaign meant it was a bit easier to report on those separate campaigns. So, but you're right, that would be another way of doing it as well. Cool. Cool. So, another one.
It's a boring question, but so a bit of a boring technical question.
Yeah, go for it.
But in terms of the master list that if the customer purchases it in the last kind of 6 days, is that automated, or do you have to manually go in and then extract the data? Is it quite complex? Does it take a long time?
No, the master list is created from our data feed into Message Focus. And again, just the filters, or you don't see it, but in the beginning of the programme, there is an inputs tab, and that is actually, we're using a dynamic list there. So we're taking the master list, attaching a filter to the dynamic list, which obviously filters on the master list, which then is pulling out. So for example, the win back, we've got 6, 9 and 15 months since last purchase. So it's just pulling a dynamic pull against them, and that then inputs into the wait until 1 a.m. and then off they go through. And then at the end, it just chucks it all back in for you.
Anybody else?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Justin from Alvean Bank. I'm just wondering how you actually get the data into Message Focus in the first place. What integration are you using? Because we're currently looking at Salesforce integration.
We are literally just using an FTP file transfer. Every day, our data team from our website, which is run by Snapfish, they pull a file that gets sent over, and then same with the transactional data. And then the Adestra team have set up a pull that will put it in all the right places for me. So that's what we're using, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, cool.
No.
Yeah, it'd be great actually if everyone could introduce themselves and say where they're from. That would be really cool. Sorry to drop that on you.
Thanks. Tracy, Marketing Manager at RM Education. We're very new to customer journeys and just starting to think about what we can do. We overload ourselves with data and what we almost want to do too much right from the start. And mine was just a quick question really on the testing, and I noticed that 7 days features quite a lot. Was that just a starting number for you? Is there a functionality to test whether 7 or 3 or longer is best?
Definitely, I think within the programme builder you can send off in different branches, so you could just do an arbitrary split, I guess, of your list.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. And in answer to your question, it was just a starting point really based on kind of common sense what we thought.
How long it takes our factory to produce things as well, and the postman to deliver.
Yeah.
That's why the 14 days, because it's about a week to deliver, and it gives them a chance to see.
But there will be some additional functionality added to the programme builder that will make testing journeys within the tool much easier. So there will be a node, am I allowed to call it a node? I'm looking at Steve now. But there will be a node that basically splits the data randomly, so you can send people on different paths. So that will be really powerful because it will enable you to test different content or different frequency, different delay times, or the number of campaigns. So I'm really looking forward to when that is released. I believe it will be before the end of this year. So
Brilliant, thanks.
cool. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the win-back programme. So TruePrint already had a win-back email, a triggered email in place, but it was just a single email, and it was performing pretty well, but we felt that it could work harder, and we wanted to extend it out into a longer programme. The original design that we did had a series of 3 emails, but Charlotte was really keen to get stuff live and start seeing results and increases in revenue as soon as possible, obviously being in a fast-paced market. So really to a proof of concept, really to prove the theory, you extended the programme out into 2 emails. So it's actually the same creative that was used before, it's just that the second email is simply a reminder email. So the first email says, "We miss you, here's our gift for you, 50 free prints." Then we wait 7 days, and then the filter looks to see whether the customer has purchased. If they have, it throws them out, and if they haven't, it sends them a reminder email about the offer and with an increased sense of urgency saying that they need to use their offer within 7 days. And just making this really simple change, which didn't take you very long.
Don't reveal the spoiler. Don't reveal.
Oh, sorry. It's shown some quite brilliant results actually, just through adding an extra email to the journey. And here's what the email looks like.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the one where it says just 7 days left. So actually the emails look the same. So there wasn't really much work in generating creative and content for this.
It was just a text edit, literally, of just the little bits of like, just change it to 7 days left, and that was it. So
cool. So I think we're going to move on to talk about results, but I just wanted to say firstly how impressed I was with Charlotte, because we went in to do this workshop in July and we drew out five programme journeys when we were there, and since then you've got four out of the 5 live, in about two and a bit months, which is really good. It's really amazing, but it also means that results-wise, we've got some initial results, particularly from the win-back programme, because that was the one that she did first, but the other ones are still kind of cycling through, so we don't have loads of results to report yet, but the initial results are very encouraging.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. Yeah, so it was just me working on these, and I started to get out all my promotional emails every week. So it was a challenge, but made all the easier by the programme builder, because it just made so much sense, which was great. So the results. The win-back, we'll look at the 9-month version, although for the 6 and the 15, they're both very similar. And following on from your question about the number of days we're waiting, the reason we pick 6, 9 and 15 is just looking at the patterns of buyers within our on our site, because it's only sort of 1.3 a year. We thought 6 months it'll get the midpoint to try and get them back again if they haven't already been. The 9 months, and especially at the moment, if you think 9 months back, that was Christmas, and we get a lot of people coming at Christmas, so we're just trying to get them back in there again, hopefully buying again this Christmas. And 15 was sort of take it on a bit longer, because again we noticed we get a lot of people who regularly come back once a year, so we don't need to remind them, but maybe if they've started to really disappear, that's why we picked 15 months.
In case you missed it, 1.3 is the order frequency.
Yeah, 1.3 a year, yeah. So as you can see, the open rates are looking quite healthy on this one. The subject line is just quite obvious, we miss you, come back and we'll give you 50 free. It's 75 free prints for the 15 months. The click-through rate for us is fantastic at 10% for the first email and 12% for the second. Our promo emails tend to struggle with click-through, although we know that people disappear off and go through other channels. They read it on their mobile, get home or get to work and Google it, because we've seen my codes popping up in all the research data. And then, fantastically, it's the conversion rate. Obviously, we were originally just sending out the first email, and the conversion rate as tracked by Message Focus was 1.9%. But just putting in the reminder, a sense of urgency with the 7 days left, we've gone up to 2.9, which is fantastic. And this has resulted in a fantastic rise in revenue compared to when it was just a single one. So drum roll, please.
Oh, sorry.
Bit too early, yeah. We've had a 64% uplift on revenue just on that one little programme. And it was, again, a simple change, a couple of text changes from going 1 to having the reminder. We've seen that. So of course that keeps my boss happy, because he likes to see revenue going up. So hence little Don. He doesn't really look like Donald Duck, but we thought we'd put that in there for a bit of fun. So yeah, and also hot off the press, because I have literally only just finished building all of these programs, the post-purchase program started cycling. We started sending out campaigns, same with the first purchase activation, and we're seeing similar results in the open rates. We're seeing some fantastic open rates actually in the post-purchase sort of programs. We're talking in the 30s, I think one of them was, when I had a quick look in Message Focus. So that is of course fantastic. People are opening the email, they're at least getting eyeballs on us, and it's just reminding them we're there.
That's a lot higher than the retail benchmark, which tends to be sort of around 20% or lower than that. So
yeah,
really good.
So that's fantastic. We're not seeing massive click-through rates, but as I've already mentioned, we know from our promo emails, we see 70% people open on mobile, and that's the same for the programs that we're seeing. And a lot of people, they're on the tube or they're on the train, they're on the way to work, they read it on the mobile or they're on the way home, they get to a desktop and then they log in and get on with whatever it was that was interesting them. So again, through search, affiliates, we're always declining a lot of affiliate payments because my codes pop up. So, but yeah, so that's fantastic. I'm going to, once it's sort of cycled a bit longer, take the email contacts out of Message Focus and actually send them to our website data team and get a column filled in that just says this is these customers' last order date. And obviously Message Focus also lets me know when we sent the email to them, so we can sort of compare and see if we are getting an uplift from these people, or at least the first purchase in terms of the first purchase activation. So it's great. Cool. Good results so far, so fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I guess what we're going to do next really, we're going to revisit the win back, because as Danny mentioned, we had a third level that was very sort of informational, because again we want to get away from this heavy discount, try and encourage people to understand a bit more about what we do and what it is we offer. So we're going to stick in a third sort of stage, probably at the beginning, that's sort of, you know, we haven't seen you for a while, you've missed out on these great things, you know, we've just launched the app, we've got this new product or whatever, and hopefully next year we can say we've got a new site, so that'll be fantastic. And as we all know, it's always an ongoing testing and optimization of all your emails and things like that. But with new features coming on from the program builder, if we do get that chance to just arbitrary split lists and things, that would be amazing. So yeah, there's all sorts of things in the pipeline. I'm sure Adestra, I know Danny and Jenna, bless them, have always been at the end of an email when I've gone, what am I doing? Same with the support team, they're always there going, it's not quite working, but I've had pretty much snag free. It's been a good ride. So yeah.
Cool. Okay, so questions.
More questions.
Did you want to Catherine? Did you want to run around? Or with this? You can do it. We don't mind.
Thanks. One question. In terms of customers potentially being on more than one journey or program.
Yeah.
So the welcome registration. I think from memory you said there's 3 emails introducing the company. If the customer in the middle of that time has then made a first purchase and triggers off a second journey, how does that work? Do they get removed or do they get both?
They will get removed, because obviously we've got some filters in there that say, you know, questioning have they made a purchase. So obviously if they've made a purchase, they'll get thrown back into the master list, and then whichever program, so probably one of the post-purchase programs, will pick them up again and they'll move into that. So they'll be stop and move on to the next one is how it works.
Because there's a delay before the post-purchase starts, because they have to wait for their prints to get printed and to then receive them in the post. So that's why it waits 14 days, which seems a long time. So they would be out of that program before that kicked in. But also there's not really any conflicting messaging there.
Yeah, you just assume if they've made that purchase, they don't actually need the informative welcome emails. You wouldn't.
Yeah, that's all down to testing. Yeah. We can leave it. This was just something we wanted to get set up. The first purchase, they are going through all 3.
Yeah, so they would complete that program.
Yeah, they would complete that program. But yeah, it's just something we've got to test. Yeah. We've got to see what's out there. We know our customers love discounts, so if we're sending them discounts, they're likely to take them, but this has given us a chance to try moving away from that, chilling out with the heavy discount really, and sort of other things.
That's all done within the dynamic list, is it?
Yeah, so that is a really, really good question, because it's something that we really had to think about when we were planning out the programs. So the best way to manage your data and make sure, because there's always the risk that they could be in multiple programs at the same time is using dynamic lists to basically put people in life cycle stages. So when they enter the welcome program, to remove them from your master list and put them in, you could put them into a welcome stage and then remove them from that stage and enter them into the master list again at the end. And the same, if any, so that's why we pull them out of the master list. But you're right, they could complete an action in theory during the programme, so you have to think about what the consequences of that might be. So you could even put in a filter at every stage. So you could have chosen to put in a, have they purchased filter after each email if you were really concerned about it, that would then drop them out. But because the emails didn't really conflict with anything that they would get, then we didn't worry about that. Hopefully that made sense.
Thank you.
Cool. Sarah?
Shall I shout?
Don't mind.
No, it's okay, I'll shout, don't mind.
Cool. But yeah, if everyone can introduce themselves, that would be brilliant as well. I know Sarah's from UBM. So.
Yeah, I'm Sarah from UBM. I was just wondering if you've noticed any effect on unsubscribe rates, because when obviously you're controlling the frequency of your emails as a marketer, with your schedule, you can kind of have a real sense of how many emails each individual is getting. But with this, you lose maybe a bit of sight of that. So how has that affected unsubscribes?
It is something you've just got to keep track of. And again, Adestra, Message Focus, got great reporting, and it's just a quick download. And we've got lots of spreadsheets open. We track all sorts of bits. I know some of you probably understand the thing. You've got so much data coming in, and what do you do with it? But I've not. Okay, it's early days, but I've not noticed anything worse than the promo emails. Nothing at all worse. And I think probably, we might find they are ever so slightly better. Again, just because they're maybe not as pushy, there is more of a delay. And actually, I think probably it's actually slightly a slower pace than some of our promo emails, because I know coming up to Christmas, I'm sending out so many, I lose track. There's emails sprouting at me, and usually by the time we hit the last order date, I'm like, I don't want to see emails for another few weeks. But so I've not seen any adverse effects. There's no worse, but I think once time goes on, we'll see them slightly better than our normal promo emails.
Definitely. I mean, these are more the content is more targeted, and it's based on things like, they've just made a purchase, or they've just joined the mailing list. So, they're getting higher open rates and higher click-through rates than the business as usual. And definitely, I would guess that the unsubscribe would be lower as well. And that's and so back to Tracy's question around the sort of governance and control. That's why, when you put the programs in place, it's really best practice to keep them, within a list, to take them out of your sort of regular messaging, so that they're not getting bombarded, or they're not getting maybe conflicting offers or messages.
Cool. Any other questions?
Sorry.
You don't need to go to the gym tonight. You've done all your cardio. It's fine.
Hi, I'm Kate from Data Center Dynamics. Is it possible, it doesn't look like you've done it in this instance, but is it possible to put forms into the automation process to get more information on your clients as they progress through?
Yeah, absolutely. So forms, using forms, you can actually use that as an entry point into a program. So if they, submitted a form, perhaps in your case to download a white paper or to show their interest in an event, you could trigger that as the entry point for the program. And then if you wanted to do, maybe a bit of progressive profiling and find out more information, you could absolutely link to a form from within the email. I think that would be really interesting. And then you could then do a filter, depending on what data integration you had. You could have a filter to see whether they clicked on the form link, and if they have, then you could exit them, or if they haven't, then you could send them a reminder to complete your survey. If you've actually got the data coming in through Adestra forms, then you could actually run the filter to see whether they've actually completed the form or not. So there's lots of ways that you could use forms in programs.
Thanks. I'll ask another question as well. In terms of popping them into different buckets, if they seem to be not taking any kind of action, how many repeat sort of reminders is best practice until they just drop out of the program?
I'd normally say, for something like a re-engagement programme where you're trying to reactivate people that haven't opened or clicked for a long time, normally people tend to do a series of 3 emails. I think that's just what I've most commonly seen. But I mean, you can always test what works for your audience, because every audience is different. But I think in this day and age, you've got to accept that people just don't open every email that you send them. They just don't. They'll, scan subject lines. So, it's often good to have 2 or 3 reminders.
As you can see from our win back, just one reminder made all the difference, I think, there. So. Anybody else? Oh.
Cool.
Hiya, Lauren from the IU2.
Hi, Lauren.
Hello. I just wondered if you've experienced using the automation process. Have you ever integrated with, for example, another system like SMS, so that you would, at this point, once this email is sent out, for those who didn't open it, for example, or didn't click or didn't engage at all, then let's send them an SMS. Is that something that you've done in the past or looking to do?
That is a development, an enhancement to the programme builder, which is definitely on the roadmap. It didn't come up this morning, so I'm not exactly sure where it sits now in the order of priorities, but it is in the roadmap. So we have a number of partners who we work with. Dymark, they do SMS. So doing that cross-channel thing is certainly something that is possible. One way that you could do it is just set up a list export, so you could filter people that have performed a certain behaviour, and if they haven't, export them as a list and then send out an SMS campaign. So you could do it. You could create that stage in the life cycle, but it wouldn't be fully integrated at the moment. But it certainly would be possible to do.
I think we've got to wrap up.
Oh right, we're actually being told we have to wrap up. So cool.
Well, we'll be around.
Is there any burning questions? Quick, last one. We can do it. Last one. Yeah.
We are Will from Russell Publishing. Really quick question, because I appreciate everyone's got lunch. Out of interest, after you guys met up and planned what you were going to do, how much time did it take to actually set everything up front? Because in my line of work, we've got so much stuff to do in one day. Just be good to know roughly how long it takes to set up front.
These 4 campaigns, because we've done 2 post-purchase, first purchase activation and win back, they took me about 8 weeks, because we met in July. It's now first week in October, and I did have 2 weeks holiday in between that as well. It's great that we've got a backup of great design agency for the emails. They've got fantastic turnaround and they know exactly what we're looking for in terms of the design, so that was good. And the programme builder, because it was literally just copying what we'd drawn. So it's okay, because Danny knows the symbols, so she draws the symbols in for me, so I just it's copy the symbols and you're there. So it wasn't too long. I know obviously every company is different and they have different stages to go through various different things, but 8 weeks-ish, slightly less to set up for, and they're running. So.
Thanks a lot.
No worries. I think it's lunchtime, is it?
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a great audience and asking lots of questions. It's been brilliant. So if you've got any more questions, then come up to me.